Alright, so now we're going to do the drill down part of this. So let's start with, we'll just go in order here. AEO, let's see what this one looks like. Alright, so this one's kind of like having a big pullback. Okay, so what do I see here? So first you had this pullback, that, and now you got another pullback going. So the first thing is that this could be some sort of an ABCD down, right? Where you've reversed now. You're coming back in. This is already tested once into this bullish retest regen on a monthly. Did a full retest regen, and that would have been, looks like the second test, 1945. Yeah, it was. And so that makes sense. Did what it was supposed to. Now it tries to regenerate. This would be this would be the second test here, and it also tested into this big one over here, which has a much deeper one. Now it's already tested into this one once, so this would be the second here as well. What do we expect on that? Well, it should get the bottom third. That means your risk is down here somewhere if this in fact does it. And if you do your ABCD down, that ABCD down is probably going to be pretty close to the bottom, if not below it. And I'm doing arithmetic, but it's about the same. So this has a risk of, even if it projects, spiking down and doing a full retest. That's the monthly. Let's look at the weekly. And
yeah, we decided this one was too risky because it was bearish on the cube.
Yeah, this one, and you were looking at it to be long? You're trying to buy the retrace? Yeah. Yeah, I think this is too risky because you've got too many things going against it, at least right now, right? You got a bullish retest regen that failed here, says what was up is not up anymore, it's probably sideways. You've got total destruction over here on the daily. All you're going off is the monthly, and you've already had the test, so this is the second test, which says your probabilities are less than 50% here, right? And so it's just not worth it. And this particular sector right now is getting crushed, which is part of what's happening to this one. So you just have to let this play out and then judge it when it gets down there on whether you want to do something with it or not. And believe me, it will look ugly when it gets there. But it may be a decent trade down there depending on what the general market's doing at that point. And I think the tariff stuff is like hitting all of these retailers. And I saw something about the branding. I think these guys are branded. And if they are, I think they're getting hit worse. And I don't know if I understand why, but that was something some tidbit I saw somewhere. But technically, it's got problems. This is not something I'd be trying to buy. Let's look at the next one, cone. So it looks nice here. Going into a breakdown bar there, and same thing here. So the top of here is 64.11, 62.96. The big bar down is 61. Okay, so the first thing so overall it's okay. The first thing I see is this. So your overlap on this retest. The retest regen would be down at here. It'd be 6 bars plus, right, to get there. And the overlap here is going to be strong because of this. And so this one looks good on a retrace into this area, 59, 58.50 it looks like. The question is can it break out? That was the first thing I was looking at when I looked at this breakdown bar. And so can you get over this is the real question, right? And so I think the question now is you have to evaluate this push. 62.54 so far. So it's almost to the full push. Wide price spread. It doesn't have heavy volume though. Wide price spread, heavy volume above it, but you're already into it, but about a third, which is about what you expect. So I suspect this is going to be a supply line. And so my guess is it's going to have trouble getting over it. Now if it gets over it, then that's a big positive to buy the retrace, right? Especially if you get a retrace this deep. You might not get it that deep then, but maybe it comes into the low and high, which would be about 59 on a retrace, and this is 61. The low there is 59. This high is 59, is almost 60. Yeah, you might get it like my ideal here would be, I'd love to see it go over, come back in, and trade back into about 60. Maybe this swing point high if it could, and then that would be the place I'd try to pick it up. If it trades differently, let's just say it rolls now and comes in deeper, then you can buy on the daily, right, with your stops down here somewhere underneath, and you're trading this one just for the push back up. You've got an ABCD here. If it were to fail immediately, you wouldn't have finished, right? So you come back into here and then try to go back up again. And so, you could get a decent trade out of this on the way up. There's enough points there to make it make sense. And then see on the second attempt into this thing what it does. It looks good overall. This is not bad. You just have to find the trade. Right now, the daily is the only one that's really set up. KMB, which is Kimberly-Clark, so this is like a big consumer durable type. Huh. Well, this is interesting. I assume this was earnings, and then you sold off on earnings, which is kind of weird. This did have a bit of a tail on it, but that was a hard sell-off. What was this low? 123.59. But it held. Yeah, so this one's curious. I kind of like these setups, although I don't like this type of action, but I kind of like this setup when I have this kind of a bar that's got this kind of a spike volume. I don't like that second bar in the long tail, but it eventually will come back to test that top probably, and it could be on this move. It's about to try to get over the swing point high. So on that time frame, and then you got the big bar out here that's kind of a sore thumb kind of bar, which is what you want. It's nice and positive, and your target eventually looks like these highs. So this is a pretty good setup. I kind of like this one. Where did my daily go? That high is 128.56, 128.67. So once this prints tonight, this actually got over it today. Your risk here, is anytime you go over, right? You have the risk of a retest regen. So if I were trying to trade this, I would look first thing in the morning, and I'd see how it trades the first 30 minutes or so, and decide whether or not to take the trade. Now, if it gaps up, of course, it kind of makes it hard. But if it trades up in here and the general market's holding tomorrow, it's probably worth an attempt to get up here. I wouldn't take a full position. I'd take a partial, because I'd have to buy it again back here, and I'd have to have my stops, somewhere down deeper. I have to find a decent place on stops. What is that low? 122.82. Yeah, so somewhere down here. That's probably not a bad spot. Somewhere down in here. So you want to buy two lots at least, but you're shooting for this top, and then if it really gets up there and gets over it, which will be hard the first time, but eventually, your targets are the tops up here, which is 136. That's another 15. So that's another 12% or so total. That's not bad for this type of stock. A slower mover. So that one looks okay. PSA, this is the storage company. This one did a test failure today at the top. That's a test failure, right? So you go up, you hit it, you get up underneath it. So you don't want to buy it now. Retest regen was here. Now this is interesting. Look at this. So this low, 2202. It did close over it, so it didn't break it. So it actually held. So you did a bullish retest regen that held. I thought it failed, but it actually held. So you did a full bullish retest regen. That's all normal. That's what should happen. Now you're trying to regen, but you get a test failure at this high. Let's see what this is. So that's a negative. Okay, so nothing bad on that side. And you got these two swing point highs hanging over you. So this one you just gotta let it, you gotta see what it does, let it come back again. It's gonna be a tough one because you're gonna have to watch it, right? Because as it comes back into here, right, it's gonna be the second test. So you're gonna wanna see it hold here before you buy. You can't just jump in it. Because it's already tested there and it's already tested this one time. So you gotta make sure it holds. And so you're not going to buy the low. You're going to buy somewhere back up here after it does the test, probably, if you do it. And then you're shooting for the break. If it test fails again, you have to just get back out. If it actually gets over it, then you got some juice, something's happening, right? So you got to wait. You got to look at it down here, and you got to make sure it holds, or you don't do anything with it. Otherwise, you're risking too much. If you wanted to make it on a different time frame, this high is here, that break there is 1, 2, yeah, I don't see where you put your stops on this time frame. It's hard, right? You got an ABCD up and it's already actualized, but where do you put your stops? The only thing you got is way back here. That's a deep stop down here somewhere. And you know, your risk reward is not that good, right? It's pretty bad actually if you're buying up here. So you can't hardly make it on a weekly right now. It's just not set up for it. Let's look at the last one. UHT. So this one didn't test fail, but it got close and with a tail today. So they came in and sold it as it got close. And on the weekly, it's nice highs, nice highs. This one's testing on the monthly. 84.90. It's already hit it. So this is kind of like, this one has to break out or it's going to come back on the monthly because it's going to be a test failure probably. What is today? We're about halfway through, so volume is about half. That's about 950. It's going to be it's going to be short, quite a bit short probably. So you'd probably end up with the test failure if it doesn't keep going. So you don't want to do that. ABCDs are almost done again here on the weekly. Yeah, I would just, this is a stock where you're betting on the monthly and you got 2 weeks left. So it's a hard buy here. I would pass until I got more information. And
we thought we were waiting for a multi breakout on this one.
Yeah, if you get that, then you got something going, right? You've already got the nice thing here, but it's already done its ABCD. You need this one. So you want to get closer to the end of the month and see what happens before you really pull the trigger. Because if you get it on the monthly, that's good, right? Because you'll get 2 to 3 bars probably, sideways to up. And that's worth taking a risk on. Because that monthly, that projection there, well, that's actually projection is not that big. 53, it's 24 on top of this. It's 70, 82. No, I didn't do that right. Let's try one more time. 53. That's 30. No, it's 50. That's 23, right? 24. What am I doing wrong? It's 80. It doesn't add up. Well, let's do it this way. This is easier. 53 and this one's 58, so that's 5 points on top of that. Yeah, it is. Same thing. This one's done. ABCD's done. It's probably going to fail. It's probably not going to get over it. Your projections are already met here on the weekly, and you're just testing. This one's a case where you just simply have to be patient, let it play out, and then let it come back in, and then probably buy it. Even if you get the breakout, I'd probably buy the retrace on it, just because your projections are all done. What is this? Health Realty Income Trust. So is this some sort of a REIT? On
it's health centers, like buildings.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a REIT for healthcare. Yeah. So they probably pay out dividends all the time. I don't carry dividends in here, right? I don't adjust for them. You might want to look at that, but they're probably paying dividends, right? Because they have to pay out a large percentage of their gains. So they probably have dividends every month. And this thing doesn't reflect that, right? So you're getting a dividend rate, whatever it is. You can look that up pretty quickly. You just go over to, like, I usually, to find that, I just go to Finance Yahoo and just see what their historical data is, and you can see the dividends. It's the easiest way. You just come here, go to the historical data, and then change this to dividends only. Apply it. Yeah, see, they give a payout. It's every quarter, so it's not that big. 0.5 on this. Yeah, it's not that big at all, actually. So it's not a huge dividend. I would probably want to buy a retrace on this, even on a breakout. I doubt it will just carry that much. Okay. So that's a quick analysis.
That's good.
I feel like Jim Cramer on Mad Money when I do that. Except for I can't tell you what every stock does. All right, let me. Where's my little recording studio thing? I don't know where it is. All right, I'll get it when I'm done here. I'm gonna let it go, guys. Patrick, you got the benefit of a long session. Patrick maybe left. No,
he's still there.
He's still there. I wore him out 2 hours. All right, guys. Thank y'all a lot. Take care.
See you.
Bye.
All the best.
All right.